Welcome to Sambhashana, a fortnightly talk show where I will be presenting conversation with diverse personalities from various industries. I'm your host, Nilima Somashekar. For this week, we have with us a very young and a super talented space geek who at a very young age co-founded Space Education Research and Development for promoting space education. She has been appointed by the French Embassy in India as the Ambassador of Studies in France, and she is Dr. Kalpana Chawala Scholar for International Space University. She has also received KWAA Youth Icon 2019 Award for outstanding work in inspiring students in STEM and space education. She has traveled extensively over 6 countries to promote space education. She is on a mission to educate people around the world on space education. Let's welcome Nikhitha to Sambhashana. Nikhitha, a very warm welcome, and I'm super excited as always to talk to you and have this conversation with Sambhashana.
Thank you very much, Nilima, and very glad to be part of Sambhashana that you're doing with all the women and everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation, first of all.
Honored, honored. Uh, Today, Nikhitha will be sharing with us all the things related to space education and her journey as a space entrepreneur. Firstly, without any ado, let me ask you why the passion for space?
Well, I think like all of us have this, curiosity towards what's up in the sky. Like that's something which comes out for all of us, and particularly in India. Like our parents usually feed us food by making us look at the moon and stars and whatnot. Um, I think it kind of starts there, like up to a certain extent that I started observing moon and started asking questions like why is it following us like every child does, and then at the same time my house is in HSR, and we were able to see the airplane take off and land from the old airport, and that is something which again made me so curious about all these aeroplanes and flying objects. Like it was something that made me feel like I have to become a pilot as well. And well, that was my goal up to 12th. I can say that I have to be a pilot, or I want to learn about all this space, or do aeronautical engineering, like be anything in this aerospace domain.
Mhm.
That's uh, that's how I went on to do my aerospace engineering. uh,
Wow.
and yeah, like, and as in like there was a small twist as well. I wanted to become a pilot, and then
Mhm.
after 12th I realized that I was short, like short on height.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
that is something which made me like take a decision of going forward and do my engineering. Like,
Okay.
if not fly, then let me learn. So
Uh-huh.
that's how I went into aerospace, and I did my aerospace engineering while I was studying itself. That was in around third year or so. I and Sujay, we started off an NGO, which is called SSCRD. And again,
Mhm.
story behind that is very, you know, something very personal that I and Sujay had faced. Like
Yes.
when we are in particular domain, people
Mhm.
around us know that we are studying this, then usually we get calls telling our relatives or someone whom we don't know, telling, okay, someone wants to do this, what do you think, right? So
Mhm.
that guidance, that calls when we got, at the same time when we are talking to a lot of juniors and seniors, even the conferences that I attended, everywhere all I heard was that they didn't know what they were going to study, or that what they were studying was not something that they liked it. Or
Okay.
so that was like a big mistake kind of feeling that they had, and mm, the kind of lost the interest towards education itself, right? So that's when we started off SCRD in order to like tell everyone what is space and what the different domains of space. that's how we started off. And today we are
How
in.
old were you when you and Sujay? I know I shouldn't be asking the age of
No, no, no.
women, but how old were you and Sujay when you started off SSERB?
I was in my third year. That's 2016. So let's say
Okay.
21 something.
Mm-hmm.
And Sujay was like 23 or something. So
Okay.
yeah. So that's when we started off. And after my engineering, like after my studies, um, uh, we went on to register it as an NGO. Like otherwise, earlier it was just like a name. We had created a community that we had created, and we were just doing the outreach. So
Mm-hmm.
we went on to register, and then like wanted to focus more towards it in our free time. That's something which we wanted to do, and we did it. And
Mm-hmm.
till date, it has never let us focus on any other things. Rather, like I wanted to do my master's. Sujay was working elsewhere, but we taking care of SCRD has made us like continue working for SCRD till now with the same
Mm-hmm.
excitement. I can say with a lot of new projects that have been coming up, the impact
Yes.
that is created and everything. So
Yes.
today we're still
Now,
there.
Nikita, now you have taken us through how it started, what has been your inspiration. Now, being a woman, I know all this doesn't come, so easily. How has your entrepreneurial journey been as a woman, and what are the challenges you face or still facing on a day-to-day basis?
And that's a very good question. Like for me, as a woman, I don't have anything specific to say. But as an entrepreneur itself, like both I and Sujay come from non-entrepreneurial background, as in our
Yes.
whole families all together from years and years. It could be that we are the first ones to start something on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And again, both of us come from a middle class family, I can say, where you like to put some money on to something, like investing is not at all in our
Yes.
something we can think of, right? Like that is something which we both faced, like when we decided, okay, let's do this, and we were doing it as a social entrepreneurship, as a social startup. We were putting so much effort, putting our time, putting our energy, and at the end don't expect any money out of it, was something which made our parents feel bad on what we were doing. Because my mother even says, like sometimes now, that the like the kind of person you are, with the talent that you have, the skills that you have, if you go for any company, like you might get in any job, like to whatever high payment you would want, and you're like working for no money. And that's something which I felt, for sure they were not expecting anything out of me, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted me to be like, you know uh, not into this. uh,
Uh-huh.
but I think up to a certain point, they were disappointed, and after that, the impact, the results, the way people were identifying us, and appreciating what we were doing, that is something which made people around us, like as in the same relatives, come and appreciate us. That's when our parents feel like, okay, I think they're doing good, let's support, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
something happened in my family, even in Sujay's family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing we faced as a challenge. Apart from that, again, uh, as I said, like I don't come from this background, so it was very new for me. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone whom I worked with, right, were pretty much women. Like when I go to school and talk, principals were women, the founders were women. Sometimes I used to go and work with some kind of learning centers. Again, most of the learning centers are run by like women, because
Yes.
they, they want to keep working on something.
Mm-hmm.
I also used to participate from the very beginning in the women related like meetings and gatherings. So I was always in and around women who were
Mm-hmm.
doing things which I think made me feel like, okay, I can do it, or I have to do it. It was a very healthy environment for me, you know, where even when I used to speak with others, pretty much the same thing, right? Like even they have the same experience. So it's all positivity around, which again made me uh, do whatever I wanted to do and all that. Like even today, I attend so many meetings and programs where I'll be the only person who's like a female gender. But again,
And the
I
youngest as well.
yeah, up to certain point, even the age is gone now. I'm getting older, I feel.
Okay.
Because I still remember in the very beginning, as I said, we started in 20, and even up to 25, everyone was like, oh, she's like just 20s, not before, like less than 25, just 23, and all that. That used to be so excited for me at that point of time, and now that excitement is no more.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm getting old, I feel. But
Okay.
other than that, like, um, it feels different to be just there as just one person in and around, and it feels good at the same time. We expect people around. It would have been good, is what I feel. Apart from
I
that,
know.
no such problems as I have faced, because again, I hear a lot of women entrepreneurs saying being a woman was a problem for various things. Luckily, that did not happen with me,
Okay.
and yeah, that's something that I'd like to.
So, like when you're working so much in the area of space, the universe has chosen you to be the lucky. I look at it that way. Okay. Yeah. Now, I also see that you have traveled extensively around the globe to promote space education. Can you share with us what has been your experience, or what has been your learnings, or what has been the journey when you go represent India in the global space?
Yeah, that's again like a very one of the experience that I always like to keep sharing to an extent. So Jay will get bored whenever I speak.
Mhm.
I start saying that. Um, like as I said, I come from that family background, and again, when if someone is a pure Bangalorean, you will know that they wouldn't have stepped outside the Bangalore. Huh? Even only if it's someone else who are from other than Bangalore would have like literally seen everything in Bangalore. That's me. So I was a person who did not like know a lot about Bangalore. It's a being born in Bangalore, right? That was me. And to an extent that when I wanted to do my masters, I was like looking for universities abroad and all that. And my family was like, no, you can't go outside, right? To an extent that so many people convinced, including Sujay, to my parents, and then they used to agree, like, okay, you can go and study. And after 1 week, they would say study anywhere in India. Then after another 1 week, they would say study anywhere in Karnataka. And then it comes back to study anywhere in Bangalore. Be back home at 6, right? That's something that I faced, and which something made me not take up masters, I can say. But I'm still exploring. Anyways, coming back to traveling, right? Starting SSCRD and doing the work and creating that impact is something that gave me opportunity to go outside, literally start going outside, right? When I got the first opportunity to go to Mauritius, and there the task was to go and talk about what we do here in India, the way we do, and share that experience with the young delegates of various African countries so that they can go and do over there. That was the first opportunity that I got, and I was telling my mom that I have to go now, okay? You can't stop me now. And I think that's when I started going out. And then we went to Sri Lanka to teach the students out there about space, because like in India, we have ISRO, which is doing amazing work in space. In Sri Lanka, there's nothing much of that type. Okay. So there again, students are not aware of it. So we were invited and we went and spoke about all the things that are about space and everything. And then in 2019, I got an opportunity to study in France. This is a 3 months course, but it was again wonderful opportunity because that course again took me to 4 different countries, and it just went on. Now, if I look back, every country that I've visited has only been for space, only for space purpose, right? That's how it has been. And what I've learned by traveling and meeting the people, particularly in the space industry, this is that space kind of unites all of us. Like everyone today thinks of various possible ways of dividing people in different ways, but space kind of unites everyone, right?
Yes.
It literally brings everyone to an extent that I got this thought, and this is something which we always say, right? Like if you are outside your city, you would say that I'm out of the town, like I'm out of that city. If you're outside the state, you no more represent your city, you represent the state. You'll say I'm not in Karnataka, even though if you're just outside to some other state. Then if you're outside India, you'll still not say that I'm not in Bangalore today or for another 1 week. You'll say I'm not in India. I mean, it just comes automatically. That now consider if you go out of the earth, you will say you're from earth. I mean, that's what I have experienced. You keep going away, 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 and we all like feel that we're all one, right? We're all just one. And then space says that Earth is the only precious planet we have, and we're all like just one set of people, and it gathers everyone. So that's one of the things that I've learned. Like when I like meet people, though we have a lot of problems, like social problems, or let's say other type of problems, like be it India, China, India, Pakistan, but when people gather for space related program, I mean, no one thinks of all those. I mean, borders are just erased. You
Yes.
just get together, and that's something which makes me so good, that everyone just comes together.
Wow. That's nice.
That's what that is what made me love and keep traveling and keep meeting people. It just makes us feel that we're all one. We're not like different people.
Right, right. And also, you have recently started something called the Gen X Space. Can you just share some light on it? What exactly Gen X Space does?
Yes. So, like as I said, I and Sujay, back in 2016 is when we started off SSCRD as a not-for-profit, and we were doing several outreach activities. We also started doing programs in different schools, different colleges, and everywhere. And our mentors always kept on telling us that Nikhitha, you should think of keeping yourself sustainable, otherwise you will lose interest in what you're doing. Because we had a team, we had an office and everything, and we were again like living on it. Like I was just taking care of SSRD, and Sujay, he was working elsewhere, and he literally left those jobs, and both of us were on full time, and we had to take care of a lot of things. So that's when, and then how the opportunities are now in the country, that if it's a startup and if it is doing something, the government supports, and our mentors said the same thing, telling us you should also register as a private company so that you can look for investments, you can do like commercial programs which will keep you sustainable. That is something which we heard from our mentors for a long time. And then we finally 2020 Feb is when we registered a private company, and that's the brand name is Gen X Space. So we kind of moved all our commercial programs under Gen X Space and try to keep SSCRD as like a proper not-for-profit, so that we can we can reach out to students in the rural area, and those who can't afford, those who come from backward classes, through CSR programs and those things. So that's what keeps both of them different.
You say space education.
Yeah.
When you say space education, what aspects are broadly covered in SSRD or Gen X? What do you teach, here?
Right. Again, from the time we started off SSCRD or even till date, right? One thing we've been asked or we've been like observing is that you know, and most of them, if you go around and see, are like someone who would just teach about astronomy, someone who would just be into aero modeling and things. But not all the students will know all the other domains that we have under space. We have rockets, we have satellites, we have like amazing domains that are coming up, like space law, astrobiology, space medicine, space art, like crazy things which are going to be very important in the future. And in India, though, it's not all, no one knows about it until like I was in France and I learned it, and I came back here. When I started talking about it, everyone like shocked if there was something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something which we've been focusing on. So our space education kind of covers every domain that we have under aerospace, so that students knows what is what by its name, and not don't make a mistake at the time they were supposed to take the course, like take something in mind and they take up something, and then
Do
they
you have a curriculum, Nikita?
yes.
You have,
Yes,
okay.
we have like a curriculum for grade wise. In fact, like let's say for school ones, like our program from grade 1 to grade 5 or grade 12, we have the curriculum planned, and most of the topics that we teach are again completely hands on, right? They are not just
Mm-hmm.
theory based, it's mostly activity based, STEM focused, practical learning, I can say. I mean, even before NEP 2020 was talking about this, we had something we had planned, and we were working on it back in 2016 itself. So that's something which we've been focusing upon and providing.
And how big is your team? You go to schools and teach, or you have a center where people can come and learn?
We have both, Nirima. We have a team which goes to different schools who take up the program. We also have space here in Kormangla, where now we are opening up because COVID is gone. We are like opening the place for students to come and visit and learn. At the same time, these 2 years of pandemic has taught us that there are so many students outside Bangalore who are
Wow.
interested. So in this, just in this 2 years, we had over like more than 30,000 students who registered and took part in our program virtually.
These are full-time courses, or what is
Right?
it like?
Different type of programs that, and it was all done virtually.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was done virtually. Like past 2 years, 2020, 2021, even this year till like even now the one program is happening, everything has been virtual. And we've like reached more than 30,000 students in just these 2 years, right?
Okay, okay.
And again, the online program, online learning is something that has taught us a lot of things that we can teach. So yes, even now, even though pandemic is gone, we still have online programs, and this is for
Mm-hmm.
students who are like outside and who can't go
Yes.
to it and like still keep the learning going. So
Yeah.
that's something that we've working.
Great. And if someone wants to take up this space education on a very serious note, where should they be starting it, or what are the education options available in India other than coming and learning from you guys? Are
Right.
there any other places that students can go and pursue this?
Right. One is, as I was telling you, this is a start for them to know more about what are the different things that are there, and all that. Now, of course, for a job, they have to go into proper degree. So there is aerospace engineering, aeronautical engineering, and then there are like various colleges, like a lot of colleges who are now providing these courses. So it's 4 years, and then if students are interested in astronomy and astrophysics, then they have to do BSc in physics and then go on to take a specific domain of astrophysics. Again, in India, there are like various colleges out there. Space law also, there are colleges now, one in Hyderabad, one in Mumbai, where they are providing space law program, right? It's like, first you would do law, and then like, you have to do majors in one of the specific thing, like be it crime or intellectual property, like that space is one, right? So which people can study and like, explore. And then once these are done, then you go either do your masters, like higher studies, or even now there are like so many space related startups that are there, which are again looking for the right talent and everything. So there are job opportunities also that are going to come up in the future. And even ISRO has its own college called IIST in Trivandrum, where ISRO literally attracts, hires students directly to ISRO. Otherwise, again, ISRO conducts its own exams to hire, scientists into ISRO. Other than that, there are so many, again, like HAL, DRDO, various aerospace related national organizations, as in government organizations. At the same time, there are private companies. That's what I was saying.
Okay. So you mean to say there is no dearth of jobs once you do this
right
course?
So this is something, again, like yesterday, one of the highly experienced scientists was at our office, and we were talking, and he was pretty much telling the same thing. Nikhitha, we can't tell students that you will get job, because it depends on the student itself. Like the extra skills that a student must be aware of, not just study, take up any course and expect you'll get a job. No, because thousands of students are studying the same thing. Now, how will you stand out so you get that job, right? Now, that's the same thing what even we have been focusing on, telling students that if there are 10 people, you got to be that one person who's going to get selected. So how will you be that one person who's like talented or who's different from everyone, and all that, right? So it's in your hand to, basically learn as much as possible, have have more skills, be different in different things, be very multidisciplinary, so that you have more opportunities, right? And again, students ask, okay, are there any opportunities? I don't have any opportunity. This is something which, again, I tell students that there are no opportunities. You're not supposed to sit quiet. Go create your own opportunity. Like, you reach out telling, I'm good in this, I can do this, tell me what can I do, learn and go and do, right? So
Absolutely.
this is something that I tell everyone. Job, it's in your own hand. Don't think that 4 years of engineering or whatever you study and you have job in your hand. And particularly aerospace, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for just sharing or giving a broader perspective of what the space education and the job market look like. Moving on from here, I want to ask you that you've been a great supporter of education for girl children. How, do you see any discrimination when it comes to education or space education, especially for girl child?
Right. Again, this is something that I have observed from the time I've started SSCRD, and I've been also attending a lot of women-related programs like Space for Women by United Nations. I'm also part of United UN Women program and all that. So, I'm like, I see what's happening around. To be very specific, what's happening in India is, of course, girls are interested and they are coming forward, they study, but then they don't be in the domain. Like, they study and then they drop it. Like, the number of students who study, and you see the number of girls who work is like drastic.
Okay, there's a huge gap.
Very huge gap, as in people are stopping to work even at this time, is something that makes me feel bad. Another thing that we focused on is, whenever we used to do our programs, pretty much everyone used to be, mostly it used to be, students who are of a male gender, and there used to be a few programs where no girl student at all, right? And me being a co-founder, me being one of the teacher, and seeing there's no girl out there is something which has made me feel bad. And for that reason, I kind of worked on what is the problem, what could be done. And I kind of started a program called just Girls and Women in Space and Astronomy.
Mhm.
And what I and that program kind of brought, I mean, the whole like what you can say, uh, eh, as in like the hall had 200 seats and then people were standing
Wow.
when I did that
Okay.
program. So
Mhm.
so I
Mhm.
felt like if you stress a little bit telling this is for girls, there's opportunity for girls and women, probably people would come forward and take it up. Like, today there are so many people who say everywhere it's only for girls, everywhere it's a girls opportunities for girls, only for girls, girls, women. And I stand with them for discussion, like, or it goes like a debate as well, telling that it's because girls don't come out that easily. They need
Mhm.
some kind of push, they need some kind of motivation, they need some kind of role model. It's not like men that if you feel like doing, you jump in. Women don't do that.
Mhm.
And we never focus.
Why do you think that there is a problem that women do not come forward? Is there some kind of, do you have any insights why this is happening?
Well, for me, one of the reason is like, it changes, like as in when even they evolve in their lives, like they would have wanted when they were like students, but once they get into their families, you will never know what they would be running into. So
Exactly.
such circumstances could be one reason. Second, like, again, this is something that I feel about, like, if you look at one generation above, like let's say people of my
Mhm.
mom's age, I see so many working women, like, and they all have families. They have all had us and been working, and now the mind like thinking is shifting. They feel like if they have a family, they might not be able to concentrate or something. Probably that could be one reason. Even certain time, I feel that because now I'm married and I'm not sure how concentrated I would be on work if I get into seriousness of family and things. So I'm not sure. This is something that could be the reason.
Mhm.
Uh, and socially as well, like, I see several things. So
Okay.
that's something
Okay.
we keep discussing. We keep doing surveys to know what it is, and also it's mostly like appreciating women when they do something and bring them to the next position.
Did your survey come out? Did your any findings did you able to gather with your
Well, we
survey?
started for the last conference. It will be presented this conference by the team.
Mhm.
So that is something which we are, waiting for the results as well. Uh,
Wow.
and we also work on how we can come out of these problems, right? Particularly in STEM, if you look at it, only like, I've heard only 13 to 14% of the women like stay back for doing the STEM related program or science particularly and things like that. So many people have been like working on how to change that. What are what could be done? I mean, first thing is, of course, from basic like foundation itself, we gotta keep telling them you can do it, show them the role models and everything. But when it comes to real life of being in that job, what you face is something that again depends upon, right? So I feel these could be like the collective reasons. But one thing I tell again for all of them who think they can't do is my grandfather's dialogue: you give it a try, only then you will know if you can do it or not.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, you have done uh, so many things in terms of your space education, traveled extensively, and you've come back here and you're promoting, space education. Do you even think the kind of impact that you have done, when you look back, do you think that you have, man, that you have gone and represent India at different forums? How does it feel like?
It feels really good, like particularly in the programs where there is no one from our place and it's just me and holding that flag or being behind that, like in front of that flag, makes feel really proud. And one thing again I felt most of the time is, when it comes to recognition, people outside India recognize and support. And I think it's not just that everywhere, unless others recognize and support, our people wouldn't. Like, I have faced that when other countries, kind of started talking about us. Until then, in India, no one spoke about it. Like, even say, I was in Karnataka and other states kind of helped us, like do our programs or noticed us, started giving awards. Until then, Karnataka did not know about us, right? Even let's say about our home itself, until our relatives and everyone know about us, our own parents were not,
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere that it kind of has to come from outside, I feel, in order to make our own people believe in us, is what I felt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something which has made me like understand. Even someone comes to me and like, okay, I need help, I need to do this, I will make sure I will support, because these are the people who will go forward in the future and do something.
Yes.
That's something which I've learned. Whatever possible, is something we have to do, is what I have learned, and I keep doing that. And coming to outreach and stuff, again, like, more the students, I mean, among all these 50,000 students whom we would have taught, even if 5 students who pursue it till their end, like till like achieve their space goals and dreams, is what we would be successful as. But now how we increase that number, and that is something that is our goal and which we've been working on, and will continue for. And yeah.
What next after SCRD and Gen Space? Is there something that you're working on?
uh, that's a good question. I past few months though, I have some interest in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Wow, this is something I never knew this,
out of the
Nikhitha.
box,
But
on Nilima. Yeah. So this is something that
yes,
I want to give it a try, and I'm like trying on how to start in that again, because I'm a person who can't like keep quiet when things around me are not right, and I don't know. I feel being in that position could give me some uh strength to do or change some things. I
yeah,
don't.
you need a sense of a power to say change things.
Yeah, so that's something that I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Apart from that, for SSCRD in Gen Space itself, we have a lot of goals and dreams. In fact, most of them came true already this year. So this year is like amazing year for all of us.
Wow.
And uh, personally, this is one thing that I want to do. And I also want to go on and do my higher studies and get a doctorate, because I want to be called as Dr. Nikhitha sometime in the future. uh,
Yes,
that's something.
that's
Yeah, pretty much that. And this is another something that I had from my childhood, that I need to be first person to do something, and I don't know what is that, and I'm still
mhm,
exploring that. That's
mhm. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your learnings, and the opportunities in the space world. And moving on to the last kind of a segment where I have something called the Fast Five question, where you can answer it with a word or a two. Okay, can we begin it?
yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Your favorite country?
Does it like mean which I've traveled to or not traveled, or what is it?
I just asked what's your favorite country. You can choose whatever you would want to say.
Let me say India itself.
Yeah. Sujaya has a husband or a co-worker.
That's a difficult question.
Okay.
This is
Uh,
a good question.
okay. Now moving on, Western wear or Indian wear?
Why are the questions so difficult? Okay.
Is that so? Okay. Your favorite cuisine?
I'm a person who like takes everything. So I'm open for all of them because I keep traveling and I can't stick on to one type of food. So
The last movie you watched?
I'm watching Hey Sinamika right now.
Okay.
The previous one which I watched was 83.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, we've come to the we're just closing up this session with you. And before I even let you go, I would want to ask if people want to reach out to you to know more about SSCRD or how they can take up a course. What are the how can they reach you?
They can reach out to me anywhere on my social media. I'm there as Nikhitha. See most of the time Nikhitha Shetty as well. So I'm available, very easily available through that. Other than that, yes, they can also email me to nikhitha@sscrd.org. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nikhitha. And again, formally thanking you for inspiring us in so many ways. Even at this young age, that you've done immense work. But I personally know you. That's the reason I'm like, giving you a shout out. And I'm sure you will reach greater heights in the space and with whatever new aspirations you want to get into politics. And I'm going to wish you a huge success for you and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you very much, Nilima. Thank you very much. And I also wish you good luck for the next series of Sambhashanas that you're going to have.
Thank you so much. Thank you.